I'm so glad you're here because y'all made it to part 2 of my Knitting 101 series. If you haven't watched part 1, I go over all the basic stuff that you need to get started knitting and talk a little bit about that. So if you need to watch part 1, I'll put a link here below so y'all go catch up. And now that we're here, we're going to start part 2, and I'm going to teach y'all how to cast on. So this is going to be really fun. So I hope you got your yarn and your knitting needles ready, and we're going to jump right into this. But before we do, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up, and we're going to go learn how to cast on. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to do the knitted cast on. To me, the knitted cast on is one of the easier cast ons because there are multiple ways to cast on, and I think it's great to start with for a beginner. So I have my yarn and my knitting needles, and I'm just gonna get started. I'm using bright contrasting colors so y'all can see the stitches and see what I'm doing. I thought that would help. So I'm going to grab the tail of my yarn, which is the end of my yarn, right here. And first we have to make a slip knot so we can put it on our needle so we can make more stitches out of that. So I'm going to show you how to make a slip knot. So I'm just going to grab my yarn and I'm going to wrap it around my 2 fingers twice. I'm going to grab the back one, pull it over the front, grab the back one, pull it over the front, and then I'm going to grab this back one and pull. And that is a slip knot because then I can tighten that up and put it on my needle. I'll do it once more to make sure y'all see that. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my tail, wrap it twice around my fingers, grab the back, pull it up front, back, pull it up front, grab the back one. And then I'm just gonna simply take my needle and I'm gonna put it on there. I'm just gonna tighten it. Not super tight. You don't want it to be really tight. You want it to be able to wiggle up and down. So you want it a little loose, but you kind of want it up there, so like that. There's just a little bit of space where I can wiggle it. So the reason this is called the knitted cast on is because it slightly resembles the knit stitch, which you will learn in my next lesson. So to do this knit cast on, we start with 1 loop, which is made from our slip knot on our needles. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to push it kind of closer to the end here. And I'm going to make sure I hold my tail and under this needle. I kind of hold it up so the tail doesn't get in the way. So I hold it with this needle. So I just have the working yarn to work with. So because you start to make your stitches with the tail, you're going to run out of yarn too quick and you won't get very many stitches. With my working yarn this way and my tail up here, I'm going to take my other needle with my right hand and I'm going to poke it, get close, I'm going to poke it under this, like in this stitch, going under my left hand needle. Okay, so I'm going to hold it with my left hand. I'm going to take my right hand with my yarn, wrap it around, and I'm going to pull it like so. Pull up a big loop, and then you're going to stick that loop on your needle. So I've made 1 more stitch, so now I have 2 stitches on my needle. Okay, so to make another stitch, I'm going to put my needle in my right hand in between these 2 stitches, like so. So going in between. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to wrap the yarn around the needle, pull up a loop, and put it on my needle. Like that. So I'm going to poke it in between the 2 stitches at the end. Like so. Wrap it around. And pull it up. And it does take a little bit of practice to be able to get this where you can pick that piece of yarn through and not lose it. So just take your time and try to not be tight when you're trying to pull it and stuff. Don't pull when you put your loop on here, don't pull it as tight as you can get it because you're never going to get your yarn through there. You got to be a little bit, leave it and be a little bit loose with it. That's the biggest problem I see with beginners is they're really, really tight, and you just have to be a little bit looser with your stitches and it makes it easier. Pull it out, put it on. Like so, and don't just leave a little bit of room. It'll be okay. So that is how you do the knit cast on. You will just keep pulling and keep doing that until you have as many stitches as you need. That's how you do the knit cast on. If y'all want to, go on and head over to video 3 where I teach you how to do the knit stitch. If you want to learn your very first stitch in knitting, head on over to video 3.